guys, I am really excited to bring you this interview with Kelly Hill, who is the Executive Director of Heart of Missouri CASA. And as you know, CASAs are all over the country, and I don't know how I got so lucky to work with one of the most amazing leaders right here in the middle of the country. So I am excited to bring this interview to you today because Kelly's organization, she's been growing this organization for a decade. So she's just an incredible leader and social worker and fundraiser. But I'd also say that as she's growing her annual fund, and so this year she's growing from a $1.1 million need to a 1.5. She's also finishing up a capital campaign. And so when we started our work together, they were doing about around a $5 million capital campaign, and they had a couple million to go. And we were like, let's just wrap up all that together as well. And so that's been a super fun part of this process to fully fund, maybe I'm giving a spoiler, her capital campaign early so that we could pivot and really shift into getting the annual fund and the annual budgeted need really reflecting what the organization needed from a revenue perspective. So I hope you'll hear this story. Kelly is such an easy person to talk to. I think you'll see that on this video or podcast if you're listening. She is a social worker, and I always say my LCSWs, they're so relational that they don't even know what great fundraisers they are. And so as she's moved into these investment level conversations, time after time, she's had donors move into 5-6 figure investments, high multi-6 figure investments, and the money was there. And she's learned really how to lead donors on this journey, to articulate the need, and then really use the tools that we've created together to grow those gifts. And so I can't wait for you to hear this interview with Kelly. Kelly, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I always start these with a little bit of who are we talking to? And I know that you are approaching your 10-year anniversary over there at Heart of Missouri CASA, which is wild. So why don't you just lead us off here on how in the world did you get into your role? How did you become such a great fundraiser and leader?
Oh boy.
You are. We have the numbers to prove it. Just tell us how you got here and just your background as a social worker and all the good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my background is in social work. I have my bachelor's and master's in social work. So it feels a little bit weird to say, but I have been in the field for about 2 decades now. And most of that has been with children and family programming, prevention of abuse. And then what I'm doing now with CASA, kind of working with kids, helping family preservation be possible. So I feel like I'm one of those anomalies that I am using what I went to school to do. I think I got lucky and I found the thing that I wanted to do while I was in school, and really became passionate about child abuse prevention when I was in undergrad and working at a residential treatment facility for kids with serious emotional and behavioral needs, and realized the vast majority of them were there because of serious harm or neglect that they had experienced. And so that kind of set me on my trajectory. And I have been here at CASA, for almost a decade. One of my professors, actually, when I was in graduate school, was on the board. The agency was really small at the time. And she asked if I would come just kind of to help stabilize things, get things on a better path.
Yeah.
I did not go the clinical route in social work. I went the policy planning and administration track, so it fit. And I did that for about 1.5 years, worked at another agency for about 3 years, running a program I had created for money management for families, which was fun.
Oh, cool.
And then in 2016, the CASA board called and said, would you come back? And I said, well, how's your board doing? How's the board? And obviously things have been great. We have grown tremendously in that time. I've been so thankful for the people that come alongside us in a lot of different ways to make that possible. But it's been a really good decade.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Did I tell you my sister and my sister-in-law are both social workers?
Oh.
I'm always like, I work with social work. I always tell them, I'm like, all my clients are social workers. It's like, they like don't quite believe me, but I'm like, I'm talking to your kind every day.
Yeah.
You're one of those.
Yeah.
Kelly, so talk to me about, and don't be humble here. You've grown this organization in the last 10 years. Like talk to me a little bit about just what it was when you maybe stepped into that leadership role, and just, because we've been working together almost a year, but like, what does that what did that growth look like?
Yeah. So when I started the agency, our budget was about $200,000. We had 3 staff, about 70 volunteers, and we were serving about 125 to 150 kids a year.
Wow.
Today, our budget for our operations is over $1 million. We have 13 staff. We're serving about 400 kids a year, with almost 200 active volunteers. So an amazing amount of growth has happened in that decade, all to the service of kids, the kids that we serve in foster care. So yeah, it's been amazing. I couldn't have predicted where we would be when I started. But you do the next right thing, and you keep doing the next right thing, and things build on, and you bring the right people around you, and things keep growing. So yeah, it's been amazing.
I love it. And what part of your journey as a social worker, who you were like, I'll step into this leadership role, were you like, oh, and fundraising is a big part of this, and do I like this? Or maybe you do love it, because I do remember us talking early on, and I was like, oh, but you're relational, you're a social worker, you got this. And because I do feel like social workers are great fundraisers. Like, how has that kind of fundraising journey been? Has it been something you've embraced, or you've been like, you're such a learner? I always say you're my A+ student. Is it something that you haven't minded doing along your journey?
It's been a journey. I like the word journey. It's been a journey. I have embraced it in the last couple years, and it has gotten a lot more fun in the last year, I would say.
Good.
I feel like when I got into this role, I didn't really know what I was doing on the fundraising side. My background is more, on the programmatic side, on the actual work and the programming and making sure that was all done really well. But the fundraising has been a learning journey. Even though I had worked in several nonprofits before this, even in some leadership roles, I didn't really know how programs raised money. So I thought most of it came from grants, and that is where I spent a lot of time in the last few years, and in the first few years. And we had a lot of great growth that came from that. But I started to realize about 3 years in, I'm like, oh, this isn't going to take us where we need to go. This is too limiting. This is too time intensive. Things are too restrictive. They're not covering all the things we needed. So we added a development position, and that has been a journey. And we have seen a lot of great growth with fundraising and with individuals and foundations. But there was definitely still a lot of hesitancy, honestly, until we started working with you. I mean, I had done sporadic trainings, read different things, was trying to put the picture of how this works together, but had never really found anything that could kind of put all the things together. How does this actually, I'm a process person. It's like, how does this actually work? Like, what is the plan for this? Because there's an art and a science to it. And I'm like, okay, what's the plan? And so, if you would have asked me, a few years ago how I felt about fundraising, there probably would have been a lot more hesitancy. But now, especially in the last year, it's kind of fun. It's fun getting to engage with people in this way. And it feels so much better than what I think the majority of nonprofit executive directors, especially in programs maybe our size, what they come into it with their preconceptions and like the fears of it. It is so not that. It feels good when you do it in a relational way and when you are engaging people in this way. So it's been exciting to see and to feel also all of the opportunity that still exists with
Yeah, I love it. I feel like early on with you guys, I was like, oh, okay, well, the money's on the table, so we'll just work toward it, and we'll get it. And frankly, you have, and we'll maybe tell a couple of those stories, but your I was going to say complexity, but it's not really complexity, but it's just like part of your story is that you want to build this strong annual fund to support growth, your strategic plan. I know we got another big jump next year, but you also, when we started working together, we're trying to wrap up a capital campaign.
Right.
So, which you had been successful fundraising for, you just had a little bit further to go. Talk to me a little bit about that. Maybe that wait right when we started working together of, yes, Sherry, we're going to grow the annual fund, and maybe pivot new capital campaign donors over into the annual fund. And just that, like, those are two big things to hold together.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when we reached out to you, we took that step because I was feeling, okay, we've made some great progress on this capital campaign. We still have, I think at the time we still had a couple million to go, and looking ahead and seeing, okay, the need for what we do and our need to grow our annual fund to meet this need, it's just growing. So how are we going to wrap up this capital campaign, then also set us up to keep growing our operations because there are more kids who need us. And so that's really the point you came in. And obviously have been amazed at how things have worked out since that time. It's like, I just do everything you tell me to do and it works out. So, but I felt, it felt like, like I mentioned earlier, there were just we just had some missing pieces in our knowledge and our tools. Like, I know that we can do this well. We have people who really care about what we do, but there's some piece that we're missing. We've got to be able to kind of put it all together. And so, we really spent like the first 6 months trying to, working to finish up the capital campaign. And I never expected going into the construction part of our campaign to be fully funded. That was amazing. And
this is the mic drop moment.
Yeah, that is.
Your capital campaign is fully funded, which is incredible.
Yeah, we're building a 10,000 square foot building to help us continue growing to reach more kids and to do some new, unique things. And we just started construction just about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And when we started the planning for this, we always anticipated needing to, maybe raise about 20% more throughout the construction period. But honestly, with the coaching and the tools that came in, donors just like, oh, this makes sense. I see what you need. I see how I fit in. And it just all came together in about 3 or 4 months to wrap up like the last 40 to 50% of it, which was just extraordinary. So
so fun. So fun. And I was also like, can we get I just felt the pressure of like, can we get the capital campaign done so we can focus on the annual fund? Because you had so many generous people kind of show up, or I know not by happenstance, but like all of a sudden there's new capital campaign donors. And it was like, oh my gosh, how incredibly generous, but is there the opportunity to now move them to an annual fund donor? And that to me felt like really important work for us to get to as soon as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so capital campaign. So talk to me about just maybe looking ahead, because I think part of the fun for me, maybe it's anxiety for a lot of leaders, is like looking ahead to the growth and saying, what truly financially does our organization need to be raising over the next 3 to 5 years to not only, continue to operate, but also to, in your case, just grow our programs, have this new building, just additional expenses that come with that. Like, how is that kind of multi-year approach and looking ahead? And frankly, I think like now having confidence to say, oh, actually, we do see a path of, growing our budget by hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
Yeah, that has been a great part of this experience because I am a planner. I like to look ahead, but there is this mindset that is pretty prevalent in nonprofits. And I don't know if it's all nonprofits, but in human service nonprofits, especially in that, 500,000 to 2 to 2.5 million, I feel like there's just this scarcity mindset of every year we would do our budget and we would base it on what we felt confident that we would get, not on what we actually needed. Yeah. So there's always this list of things that were unfunded. Like, if we had that, that would really help us serve more kids, but we're not sure if we can put that in. And so really sitting down and looking at, okay, what do we actually need? to serve more of the kids who need us and to operate this facility and to do high quality programming, it's been kind of fun to look at. There are little moments of like, ooh, like, oh, okay, this is different. It's different. I've been doing this like a decade and this is different, but it's exciting. It's exciting to have a plan, and having shown that to, some of our kind of like inner circle donors, they love it. And they're like, oh, this makes so much sense. I love seeing this plan and what you're going to do with this. And so where I feel like a lot of my nonprofit friends are feeling scared, the world is a little crazy, I'm not sure how they're going to raise money, looking more to grants, I feel just so much more optimism. I feel so much more opportunity because we have just a plan and the tools to achieve that plan in a way we've never had before. So it's been fun in a way I didn't think it would be. I didn't know, but it's been so great and encouraging and exciting to know, okay, we can increase our budget by 40% next year, and people will not, we just go into it thinking people are going to be like, what do you think you need to increase by $400,000 next year? But they're like, oh yeah, like those things you said you need, like you really do need those. We want you to serve more of these kids. What do you need to do that? Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, it's so practical to ask for what you need,
right?
But nobody does it. Like we've kind of like been trained not to do that in the sector. So do you feel like, so Kelly, what I love about you and your amazing team, I won't leave Angela out of it, is that like, I'm like, hey, let's do it this way. And you're like, okay, we'll be right back to you. And you've like done it by the next time we meet. So I always tell people, like, if you do the work, you're going to get the result. You guys like go do the work. And so like, I'm not like just saying, oh, you're A+ students. Like you're literally A+ students. Tell me about, because you guys went and were like, great, we'll meet with people who maybe I don't think are giving their best gift, or they've kind of said, hey, let us know if you need something or whatever. Tell me about some of those early meetings where you're testing new tools, you're having different conversations, you're talking about the growth in a different way. Because you got some great results, but also like you were like, okay, we're kind of moving into these investment level conversations that maybe you hadn't had in right quite this way before.
Yeah. So I will say when we started using the tools and we were finishing up the capital campaign, it was just amazing because we could present the need in a way we hadn't been doing for the first half of the capital campaign. And honestly, had we had those tools at the beginning, we probably would have finished even more quickly. We had people say, give gifts well beyond what we thought they would give and say, I did that because of this tool. Like you just presented this in such a clear way, compelling way that made sense. I gave you more than I thought I would. So that was great. And then pivoting it into the operations has been just a great experience. I think we have had donors and other board members who obviously are also donors just love the way it's presented so clearly, where before we didn't really have a way to present the need in a really clear way for the types and sizes of gifts we needed. I mean, the biggest thing people saw was like our sponsorships for our event, and they thought that's what you need, but it really wasn't what we needed. It was a made up box of things that we, let people select. And so we've just had a great response from it. People just love the clarity. They love the practicalness of it. They just know there's no mystery anymore behind what we need. There's no mystery. So it's been going, really well, and we're really excited for it.
So good. So good. Tell me a little bit, or you brought up the board. How do you feel like they've been embracing the new model, or just kind of the new activities that we've been calling their network into?
Yeah, I think that it's a big change, and I think it's been going really well. There's we'll continue to work on it, but I think their openness from the very beginning to go this direction speaks very highly of the board.
Yes.
They've always been very supportive of me, and even of where this maybe felt a little risky, like, oh, we're going to not put all the emphasis on events anymore. We're going to do this. So, when we look at that piece of it, they're like, how much we need to raise from individuals, and how are they going to give that? And like, well, we're doing this process. I have appreciated them embracing that, even though it is different. And I think there's also it simplifies things for them quite a bit too, which I think is helpful. They're busy people. They're doing a lot of great things in their lives. And before, where we presented all these different options of ways they could help with fundraising, now they don't have to do all that. They need to just a few people with us, bring the relationships to us, help us, make more friends, help get people in this kind of process. And so I think they are embracing it. And again, as donors, they are also really liking to see kind of how that need is broken up and how they can fit in. And so that's been good.
I love that. You brought up your events, and so you had a kind of, I would say, medium load of events and appeals and such. And we're still having some of them. But could you talk a little bit about maybe some of those aha moments on, how are our hours aligned with dollars, and maybe just a reframing of some of those events. Not that we're slashing them, because there's a reason we have events, but talk to me a little bit about just maybe your refocus or just seeing events in a different way.
Yeah, that has been a good part of this process that we really needed, because there was definitely a strong attachment to the majority of our, unrestricted funds from individuals and businesses coming from one main event and then a couple ancillary events. And it feels so much better, the direction we're going, because the pressure to continue to get new people and businesses to sponsor the event and to get more auction items and to do all of that, there's a lot of stress in that. And doing this different process of relational fundraising, it's honestly so good for me and the staff, because it just feels so much more natural. And it honestly also fits within just kind of our values as an organization. So much of what we do in our services, it's all relational. It's relationships with the kids. It's relationships with our volunteers. And so it just feels like a natural extension to extend that, obviously, to how we fundraise, and taking some of the pressure off hitting a certain mark at the event and viewing that more as a kind of a tool in the process of getting to know donors and helping them get to know us. It has been good. And that's probably the biggest shift that is still taking place as we continue to implement these things. Because it's the events as fundraisers is so deeply ingrained in so many of us in the nonprofit. That's what we've been taught. Like, you get sponsors in this transactional way, and you want them, you want people to come and do your raffle items, and knowing that is just not how people give their best gift, and re-emphasizing we want to invite people into this process where it is a natural, and they trust us, and then we build a relationship. It just makes so much sense. But
good. I love it. What would you say, maybe you've already identified it, but maybe has been the most kind of tangible outcome or difference in our work?
Well, I think that the things that have been most tangible have really been those tools that we have developed, the gift chart, but then kind of that donor education tool. Those have been so helpful. And donors just love those things in a way that I didn't necessarily know that they would, but those tools have just really changed the game for us. And I think too, just also changing some of our mindset about how we communicate with donors. And
Mm,
you don't have to be so professional. Like you can
yes.
talk normal to people.
They say be
Like,
a human. Like,
yes,
let's be a human.
we can be humans and they're humans too. And so
Yeah.
I think just all of it has just come together in just a
Yeah.
beautiful way. And, coming again from the background in social work, there's no formal training in fundraising. I like joked recently in the last year when I was thinking back, I'm like, I was duped a decade ago when I came into this, like nobody told me what this actually was. And so there was just all this mystery and fear, but like, I got to go ask somebody for money.
Yes.
And, knowing there's a better way and then being equipped to do it is probably just like one of the best decisions I've made in the last few years, because
That's awesome.
it's just setting us up to grow in a way we would have never been able to grow if we were just continuing to rely on more grants and more events. There's so much limitation there, where now there's so much opportunity, and people are excited about what we're doing, and it's all just come together really beautifully.
So good. So good. How would you say your team has responded to the work? And just, you have a small but very mighty development team. They've been involved since obviously day one. But how would you say they've responded to the work?
I mean, they love it. I think everybody loves it. We have a small development team. Again, it fits so much better with our strengths and who we are as an organization and just as people, that it's just been a great fit. And the relief of not having to hit certain numbers at events is it's a great thing for the development staff who are planning and implementing those. They have really embraced it, and our staff as a whole has really embraced it. I mean, the majority of our team are program staff who are training and supporting volunteers who are advocating for kids in foster care. And I actually went through our donor tools with them recently. I wanted them to see, like, this is what we're talking about. This is how we're talking about the work that you're doing every day. And they just ate it up. They loved it. Like, they just thought it was great. And
So good.
Everybody is just really excited
On
about
board.
it. And just, on board.
I love it. Two last things, Kelly. Any surprises that came out of our work?
Any surprises? Maybe how it's not really as hard as I thought it was going to be. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, totally.
Oh my gosh, this is doable. I don't want to say easy. It's not easy, but if you do the things you need to do, if you meet with people, if you communicate with them, if you share the impact with them in kind of these individualized ways, and if you build just genuine relationships with people, it does work. And so I've just been surprised by how people have responded when we've been sharing kind of this new way of doing things. There's not been one person that's like, what are you doing? Everybody is like, this is so
crazy.
Great. I don't, I love this. I love to understand your plans and where you're going and how you're going to fund that. So I don't know if people's responses have been surprising, but it's been good.
Yeah. I feel like you're a great investment. Like, you're a great leader running a great organization that's growing, that's like changing people's lives. And sometimes donors just have to be educated on that, which is, I think, what you've done.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I have to bring up, because you have started embracing my LinkedIn drumbeat.
Yes.
All the things. And so I'm a big believer, as you know, just setting context on the podcast of, hey, if you're doing great things and you're a great leader, you're running a great organization, we need to be telling people about it. And so we don't need to hide from donors. And so I'm so proud of you for saying, okay, yes, I am a thought leader, and I'm going to start putting this content out there and start, writing posts and attracting funders and helping people really see that you're an incredible leader and running an incredible organization. Could you, for those people who are on here going, oh my gosh, I don't want to post on LinkedIn or write something or whatever, could you just talk to me about why maybe you were like, okay, yeah, I'll do that, other than the fact that you are an A+ student. And you're like starting to do these posts and you've had like success and other reach outs from it, but like, how has that journey felt of saying, yeah, I actually am going to start speaking, more and kind of putting this brand voice out there?
Yeah, that's also been kind of fun. Maybe that's been the surprising thing, that I would
good.
like it. I don't know. I was on LinkedIn before, but I would get on there really sporadically. I was just not consistent, and I'm still working on it, but it has honestly, it's been fun to share content with people in a different way than I have done before. One of the posts I wrote one of our local magazine editor reached out and loved the post. He's like, would you please write this as an article in the next edition of our magazine? Just add a few hundred words to it.
Awesome.
So that has been a really neat experience. I did think at the beginning, I'm like, oh, Sherry, how am I going to have time to write LinkedIn posts? But now I'm like, ooh, I'm going to write that in a LinkedIn post. I'm going to write that in a LinkedIn post. Because there's just been great feedback. And I don't see a lot of my peers doing that consistently. I think there is an opportunity there to reach people in a different way and with different kind of resources and capacities than we're doing in other ways. So I'm excited about that. That has been fun.
Yeah, you're killing it. You're killing it. What would you say? Okay, I told you that was the last question, but I have one more. What would you say to people who would say like, I can't do this work because I don't have the time, or is it going to take like too much of my staff time, or like I don't have the bandwidth? What would you say to those people?
You're the exact person who needs to do this. If you don't have time, if you don't think you have time, then you need to do this because you will never have time again if you don't. I feel like, there is the work. There is, of course, some work that goes into it,
Sure.
but I have felt even from the beginning that, okay, we're setting ourselves up for the future to have more time to think, more time to plan. And I can already see it happening. So it's just one of those things where you just have to figure it out. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like when you're in nonprofit land and you have so many things, there just does come a point where I'm like, okay, well, you have to set your priorities. If your priority is to grow the financial resources of the organization so you can keep reaching more of your mission, you have to choose the highest impact things. And there are things you may have to let go, or you may have to do not as much of, or maybe not the best. Sometimes good is adequate, that's okay, especially for a period of time. So, that was a mild concern when I went into this, like, oh gosh, I'm already really busy trying to finish a capital campaign and do everything else. But I just knew, I'm like, if we don't do this now, we're going to be on this rat race forever. We're never going to figure out the way to get off of this, the hamster wheel of just the stress of all the annual transactional things. We're never going to get off of that. And we're going to stay stuck where we are. So,
So good.
Yeah. You can so do it. Good. You don't think you have time. You do. You can figure it out. Yeah.
Awesome. And I feel like proof of that is that, your fiscal year still has like 3 or 4 months before we started, and you're already planning for gifts then, because it's like, it's allowing you to think about, okay, well, next year, we already have that game plan for next year. Yeah. Which oftentimes is like wild, push to the finish, but it's like, okay, we have a plan to finish the year strong and then even to grow even more next year, which is super exciting.
Yeah. It's been great.
It's so good. Kelly, how can people find you if they wanted to reach out to you? And I don't know, maybe have you write another article for their magazine or be on their podcast?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. I guess you can find me there. My email is, should I put my email out, Sherry? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
if you want to. Email. If not, they can DM you.
DM me on LinkedIn. Kelly Hill is the name. Heart of Missouri CASA is the organization. My email is Kelly with a Y at homcasa.org. Would be happy to talk with anybody who wants to connect.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time, Kelly.
Yeah. Thanks, Sherry.